Torrefaction is cleaner.
Torrefaction is cleaner.
Torrefied pellets are cleaner.
It's about the best thing that can happen to biomass.
This morning we've got a couple hundred people that have come to explore the wonderful world of bioenergy. We're focusing on torrefaction, myth or reality. How is this new technology going to impact the development of the bioenergy industry?
We think bioenergy is a key to the future here. The question you asked, Michael, in my opinion, there just is no answer but that we have to move forward in terms of enhancing the values, building on the strengths of the existing industry. And bioenergy does exactly that. We think it will support existing industries and product lines. We think cogeneration, co-production, integration is the way to go in this province. We don't have the ability to grow the biomass in the way that many other jurisdictions do. The best thing we can do is combine value, increase ROCE, increase resilience of our existing industries by enhancing them with the suite of products that are possible through bioenergy.
The BC Bioenergy Partnership, they've just been sensational partners for us. I'm so impressed with everything that they've done to introduce us to new technologies, new opportunities, to bring together the best minds that we have in the industry. And I'm so excited about working with them in the future.
To get to the high renewable energy potential that we're aiming for by 2050 in the decarbonised world of the future, we only need to use 2.5% of the available technical potential of renewable energy around the world.
The opportunity with torrefaction is that you really can bring biomass to the market in very large volumes and you create a commodity with this. So torrefaction will really move forward the whole biomass market, the whole biomass sector, biomass for energy sector. And this is, especially for countries like Canada, the opportunity to feed the world with bioenergy. I mean, torrefaction is simple roasting of biomass in an oxygen-free atmosphere. By this, you improve a lot of parameters and then characteristics of the biomass towards easier transportability and easier combustibility.
The benefits of torrefaction for a pellet export scenario, certainly at the top of the list, has to be increased energy density, because we are selling gigajoules after all, and we're transporting them over long distances to get them to the jurisdictions where their green carbon neutral value is sufficiently monetarily rewarded to create that export flow.
I think torrefied woody biomass has an opportunity to provide an alternative to coal. Certainly there are many in the world that believe this. But the solution isn't just torrefied biomass. We're going to hear from the experts here and the leaders.
We need also biofuels which allow to use the established technologies, so to draw away the investment barrier or part of the investment barrier. We need products which are durable, which are storable. We need products which really can reach commodity status, allowing the traders to get rid of most of the risks they are faced today. We need to broaden and increase the catchment area for the energy which we are going to consume. Now, where is torrefaction coming in with all these requirements? Torrefaction is addressing almost all of these requirements and therefore is seen as the jack of all trades at the moment in the bioenergy sector. Therefore, so many people are focusing on this, and therefore we had this hype about torrefaction.
Everyone's excited about the opportunities, but there's some unknowns, and so that's why this conference is great, to kind of connect people to help solve some of those unknowns and get the right information to the right partners.
We still really have limited knowledge on the qualities of materials, especially from handling perspectives, especially on the fire aspect, the dust aspects, where they are, how they are going to react, how they are going to be densified.
Where is the market going to sort of settle in? Is it going to settle in towards the coal end of this spectrum, or is it going to settle in towards the lighter end? What is the market really going to tell, or is there going to be a spectrum? Will you have torrefaction light and torrefaction dark, just as you do with coffee? So it's an interesting question. We wanted to make sure that our technology would be able to be adaptable across that range, because it wasn't apparent at the time where that was going to land.
I'm looking for the simplest to operate.
Current situation, and we are producing from hog fuel on spec torrefied biomass at 8 tons an hour. We've been even over 8 tons an hour, as said already, and we're making pellets.
Why are we undergoing all of this? We're undergoing this because we see a big upside in the torrefaction material. We see a big upside in the torrefaction process. We see that, first of all, we can broaden the feedstock basis, and we can easier mix different products into one fuel, or the consumer can combust at the same installation torrefied biomass from different raw materials.
Our ambition is to reduce our carbon emissions from 90 million tons a year down to 65 by 2020. I'll tell you a little bit about Vattenfall. We're a wholly owned Crown Corporation, Swedish Crown Corporation, and the 5th largest generator of electricity and the largest producer of heat in Europe. We have operations in Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Germany, Poland, Holland, Netherlands, Belgium, and the UK. We now have approximately 40,000 employees. We have revenues of upwards of $30 billion a year. And our vision is to be a leading European energy company. We feel that price for a refined biomass and the cost of coal, those two lines are going to cross. And at that point, black pellets become a viable business model. We know we're not there yet, but we're willing to subsidize or cover those costs until 2020. Well, we feel that biomass is really crucial to meet our reduction targets by 2020. It helps us avoid upgrading our coal-fired generator plants, and therefore we could pay a little more for black pellet, but we have avoided capex on the production side.
I'm going to try to really come to some, not what if or is this going to happen. I'm going to tell you that it's happening right now. In 2006, we started with torrefaction, based on the same technology being Torbet technology. I won't go too much into the details about the technology, but in 2007, we started on some pilot Torbets. Actually, there's one in Mississauga in Toronto, to prove that we could torrefy biomass within 100 seconds. So it's extremely high speed. In 2008, we opened a pilot plant, which more or less proved that we can fly any biomass. We got a prize from Bloomberg. I know you don't buy nothing from prizes, but it was a recognition that torrefaction is a potential major contributor to the renewable problem. We are selling right now plants. Actually, it's being signed, and I can also tell you that the utilities are signing take-off contracts for this. So it's happening, and I can absolutely confirm what's being said here about the value of the product. The torrefied pellet comes already at a lower cost delivered, but I'm talking here dollars per ton. You don't get paid in dollars per ton, you get paid in dollars per gigajoule. So if you're going to set this out in dollars per gigajoule, it's 12.57 for a dollar per gigajoule. And again, think in a range. This is anywhere from 12 to 13.5. And you bring it down to 7.8. This is based on our second generation plants, the plants we're selling right now. There's a learning curve, and we are plotting that under $7 a gigajoule, far under $7 a gigajoule. More or less, the upgrading costs are becoming irrelevant. It's all about the fiber cost and the supply chain cost.
We have currently 2 units under construction in Europe, one in Spain. Probably here in British Columbia, you will consider they are small-scale machines because in Spain it is 20,000 tons per year. And another one in France, which is a couple of 20,000 tons per year machines. And both of them will be in operation before the end of this year. It's easy to calculate and to control that you need less energy to produce a pellet of torrefied wood than a classical pellet or a regular pellet. Because you have not to make sawdust, you have not to dry so much the material prior to torrefaction. You have not to put heat and to put steam at the moment to make the pellet. And when you calculate, it is cheaper to make a pellet of torrefied wood than a pellet of wood.
Torrefaction, or cooking of wood, to be basic about it, is not that difficult. There's just a million ways of doing it. The market, as I think you all know now, is far bigger than all of us combined can ever supply, and we shouldn't be thinking of competing with each other. We should be thinking of cooperating with each other. How can we supply this huge market?
one of the little balls, one of the capacity building balls on our chart was a $135,000 commitment for a project in partnership with the Wood Pellet Association of Canada. And they committed some funds to the preparation of high-class, techno-feasible and economic feasibility study on the torrefaction industry, the state of the industry. This is another example of the BC Bioenergy Network working closely with an industry association to try to move things forward.
Michael, I'd just like to echo the fact that without the help from BC Bioenergy, we never would have got this work done. So it just shows the value of your organization, and we learned a lot through doing this torrefaction study.
We look on a global scale. We talk literally to companies from all over the planet, and there is a lot of biomass. The problem is always the security of biomass, and and I think Bill will agree with me. Canada has a tremendous potential as a supplier of torrefied biomass to Europe.
One of the things that's clear is that we can't do it ourselves. If we're looking at these new value chains, going from the stump right through to the consumer, and whether that consumer is not just energy, maybe it's chemicals, maybe it's an auto part made from biomaterial, we can't do it ourselves. So you need a network.
One of the ways and one of the principles we follow is to leverage other organizations, both from a funding point of view, but also from a capacity point of view, from a decision-making process, project analysis, etc. So leverage is incredibly important for us.
The strategic partners from the oil, chemical industry are picking up at the best biomass technologies and pooling up now with the forest-based industries for feedstock supply.
We also are looking at the forest products industry, that sector, and looking at how it is transforming and recreating itself with incorporating bioenergy as part of their traditional solid wood and pulp and paper products.
We're sitting on a huge fiber basket and a huge problem with the pine beetle, and this gives a underlying value chain which creates a win-win-win through the whole value chain. So the utilities in Europe get a cheaper solution to replace their coal, while the traditional forest industries can suddenly make money out of what is now waste material, or what they have no alternatives with, or hardly any alternatives with.
We want to broaden the number of participants who will help pay for our fiber, and clearly in the energy field we see some good potential opportunity for our company.
Whoever has control over large volumes of biomass should start preparing their projects, preparing the project site so that torrefaction technology can be implemented when it is industrially viable, which I personally consider down the stream 6 to 12 months in time. But anyhow, for a project you have to have an upfront preparation time of about half a year, so it is right in time to start preparing these sites. Be ready that when the technology is ready for implementation, you're one of the first ones to implement it.
That's who's going to be the brave one to jump in first. And as soon as the first scalable plant is proven, these things can be commissioned in a relatively short period of time. And it'll start to replace our traditional pellet volumes.
We can see torrefaction very clearly as the next generation. The use of coal, heavy carbon intensity, we need solutions to this big problem in our society, and torrefied woody biomass is one of those new technologies that's going to transform the utility industry.